This morning I am faced with the need for some energetic adjustment. And I want to share with you this experience because it's how easy, it will explain just how easy it is that living life on this earth has this negative aspect to it that even the strongest, most well balanced, energetic person with the strongest, straightest keel, if you will, of where they are on their journey and this path going forward, that you still have to be careful because you will and can be sucked in. And so this morning, I recognize in this most recent event that that is what has happened. That even though I maintained my integrity and my purpose and perhaps stepped on over the line solely to say, this is your conscious speaking, I withheld my sense of well-being to not be mean or nasty or anything that I typically just am not. It's never really been in my way. Now, I used to come up with some really great revengeful ways of getting back with people when things like this would happen. Fortunately, I am working on and getting myself aligned with my most authentic, highest self, and most importantly, my sacred self. And that is what spared me. And it was automatic for me to be, wait a minute, in this social media exchange on Facebook, that I maintained my integrity and kept my message. It might have been a little rough, but I'm getting better and better every day. So it does happen. And I said in a video earlier that I hope that I never ripen, because it was this type of contrast that had me pause to ask why. Why did I jump in, even though it really wasn't technically any place on social media? It should be a place where really, if somebody says, you read something that grates your nerve, that something in your personal power system, your emotional guidance system alerts you and you're ready to go and attack in some way, even in a kind way or a learning way, as I would have called this morning, that you really need to just let all of that go and not partake in it. But when it does happen, and it does, it's been quite a while for me, but I've been where this person was that I tangled with, if you will. I've been in their shoes. I understand. And when I got done, and the last thing I said was, they were belittling us. And that was how it got started, because they were accusing someone of belittling them, of belittling people, which is, I get it, right? But then they started belittling the people responding in the conversation and as I pointed that out, they began to belittle me. So much so that I believe they said, LOL, I hope you're never chosen for a jury. And so I pushed back and said, you feel I'm not worthy, that I cannot sit on a jury? Okay, that is belittling. And then they came back and said, oh, I see that because now they've checked me out, right? Now they've checked me out on social media. And they come back with a retort of, and you call yourself I'll paraphrase, you're a spiritual enrichment coach. That is hilarious. And so thank you for confirming my very point. For them, that they were belittling people without realizing it. And then that's how I ended it when I said, knock, knock, this is your conscious. Leave this alone now. You are making a big fool of yourself. Raise your hand if you have been there yourself on this social media. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. Recognize it. Now, there was no further response, and I truly hope they understood that. That's all that was, hello, do you realize what you're doing here? And so as I too, right, that was it, ended, and I sat down and I'm like, why did I jump in there with that? It wasn't for me. It wasn't my intention. Why did I do that when I've been so good about leaving that aspect of social media alone? And it dawned on me that it was a moment of contrast, that there was something about that that I needed to learn. That is what I will reflect on. On the surface, it's easy to say that I learned that I need to strengthen my resolve and go only in certain places on social media so that I'm not antagonized. But the biggest lesson is that I recognized, I took note, but I was well behaved in trying to get them to see, but I need work. It's so funny that I said that about their conscience, because I just spoke to a friend yesterday, and in our conversation I admitted that in my workplace with clients, I have knocked on some clients' and a client's conscience, and they didn't appreciate it. I felt her gasp, because that is such a massive no-no in our business. She didn't say it. She didn't say a word. She pretended she recovered, but I felt it and heard it. She didn't have to say anything for me not to know how she felt about what I said. It resonated with her in shock. There was no judgment, don't get me wrong. But that was what was so amazing. And so that's what I've learned. That's how fast the clarity can come when you ask for it, when you are open for it. It's that simple. And I say it always, and I'll say it again, that for most of us walking this earth now, we are so caught up and have been trained to parse out certain words and phrases and things that, open quote, trigger us, close quote, that we negate the ability to hear the messages that are actually coming through our own conscience, that are coming through to us from our divine. It's not about negating anything in our faith and love and belief in our divine. It's the exact opposite. And so when you align with your sacred self, you see these situations for what they are, and you don't allow them to attach to you, because as I sat down and recognized what was happening, I recognized that if I didn't clear this out of me in some way, if I didn't get the clarity and get understanding as to why that was happening, then it was possible. Wait a minute, let me rephrase that. I was grateful. What I really gained from it in that first instance when I sat down was that I had to grab a hold of what was my feelings, what my emotional radar was telling me, because I didn't want to carry it through my day, because I knew it would influence and mess my day up. I want to be happy. I want to be joyful. I want that core well-being of mine to be intact and strong. And it used to be that those types of events would just cause me to think all day. And now, today, I learned through my divine that I am aligning more and more with my sacred self, because it happened and I am so much better for it now. Within the last 12 to 14 minutes, mind you. What a beautiful way to live walking this earth. Take these lessons, learn your secret. Well, it is kind of secret, really, because it's you. It's your sacred self. I am here to facilitate you learning about your sacred self. That's the beauty of it. So that when you continue to apply what you learn about your own sacred self and your divine and the connection of you two in ways you've never experienced before, that it's meant to tighten and strengthen and expand that connection with your divine. In my case, it's God. Then what a beautiful place to be. Take a hold of that. It's such a beautiful place to be that I want to share with you and facilitate that within you. Find your sacred self. Understand this entire inner self of yours, because we now live in a 24/7 world, 24/7 Wi-Fi world. And it is impacting everything that we do, and we can use it to our benefit to expand our own divine spirituality, our own divine conscious thinking and faith and belief into a universal divine consciousness that brings everybody together, staying individual but coming together to raise the energetic vibration on this earth, to lift it higher and brighter and stronger, to overcome the negative aspects that are battling everything that we do to take it down. What's your part in this play? Learn your sacred self, and then you will develop the sacred action needed to expand. What a beautiful and lovely way to be.